Om Nilambujasyam Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panavu Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Shri Ramcharitmanas, Balakanda, verse number 350. And the context of this. Lord Rama and all his brothers along with the brides and all the marriage party has come to Ayodhya. And the happiness that has surged cannot be contained anywhere, not even in the ocean, by the ocean. It's beyond. So that Saint Tulsidas is trying to bring your attention to that episode. Every episode in the story of Rama becomes a basis for dhyan, upasana, meditation. Tulsidas wants you to walk with him and listen to every word he has said. Don't skip it. Then you will have some smell of what's going on in his heart. Coming back now to the storyline. Lokariti janani karahi varadulehini sakuchahi mod binod viloki bad ram manahi musakahi. Mothers follow the general rituals while welcoming bridegrooms and brides. And both party, bridegrooms and brides, they are sakuch. They are sinking within themselves out of shyness. And Sri Rama, highly amused, internally is smiling, but sometimes smiles leaks out. Deva pitar puje vidhini ki, पूजी सकल वासना जी की सबही बंदी मांगहि वरदाना भाइन सहित राम कल्याणा. King Dasharatha and all the queens and all the people who are fascinated by Rama, this occasion seems to them as the fulfillment of all their vasanas. Puji sakal vasana ji ki. All your subtle desires, not only the conscious desires, but even the desires you don't know about. Subtle, they are all fulfilled. Seeing Rama, Ram Darshan, what else? सबही बंदी मांगहि बरदाना भाइन सहित राम कल्याणा. And they offer their prayers to the Almighty God and all the gods that let Rama along with his brothers and set of Sita, Urmila, Mandavi, Shrutikirti, may all Kalyan cannot be translated. Ordinarily, yes, be healthy, prosperous, live for 100 years. That's all figurative. You take it literally, that's not Kalyan at all. Yeah. You have to understand, I'm speaking from different level. If you stay in the world, enjoying prosperity after prosperity, even for 1,000 births, it is not Kalyan. Because you are script with the cycle of birth and death. Real Kalyan, not to come back to the world. But if you suddenly make that a statement, it will be harsh. So you have to also keep up with the psychology of people. So therefore, even sages, etc., they give simple blessing, live long, live on, live for 100 years, for 1,000 years. But behind all that, the subtle meaning is, be immortal. Realize you are the immortal soul. Immortality, that's your goal. So, the king, the mothers, are very close-knit people related to Rama. They performed worship, special worship for gods, for spirits of forefathers, and seeking the blessings for Rama and the whole divine set. Antarahit sura ashish dehi mudita matu anchal bhari lehi. Gods who were not in appearance subtle, you don't see them, but their subtle presence. Antarahit, Hindi word, comes from the Sanskrit Antariksha. Antariksha refers to the sky. The divine communication always comes from the sky. Akashvani. That's allegorical. Akash refers to expansion in consciousness. As long as you are not expanded, you don't have Akashvani, you have conscience Vani. Your own conscience tells you, and if it is pure, then it is in line with, in accord with profounder. But there are times when your sadhana creates a situation of sattva, and it goes beyond even normal voice of conscience. It rings the bell. Then it's called Akashvani. Not only rings the bell, showers flowers over your head. You feel it. So, antarahit sur ashish dehi. Why I'm delaying it? That you should develop that type of sensitivity. When you do your puja, don't think, oh, in Treta Yuga it happened. This is the miserable Yuga. No. This is Rama Yuga all the time. Rama is a reality. Therefore, allow your mind to relax, develop a divine feeling that gods are. We're not seeing them, but they are showering. And your heart is touching the flowers. It feels very soothing, you see, cool. How cool. अंतरहित सुर आशीष देहि मुदित मातु अंचल भरी लेहि. And the ashish coming, and the mothers are very sensitive. So even though people are not seeing the gods, they see, they feel. And so that their gift should not come down on the floor, they put their anchal. So everything that comes, picked up in the anchal. Anchal is what type? It is a garment. भूपति बोली बराती लीन्हे जान बसन मणि भूषण दीन्हे. And the king brought in all the marriage party that had gone to King Janaka. Now they have all come with king. And all of them were given a special treatment, special welcome, rather special gifts. The gifts of vehicles, clothes, jewels, why I am delaying it, they are not to be taken literally. They refer to profounder enrichment. Clothes are called vastra. If you keep your thought, word and deed, three aspects, tra, well under your control, a situation is there, the tongue is wants to slip. Keep the tongue under control and let only the sweet words come out of it. Thoughts, keep it under control and allow a positive movement to enter there. Deed, so when you are in that state, you are not in a shameful situation of your personality. You are well covered, vastra. You are well dignified. And lot of abhushan, the ornaments. Those ornaments are divine qualities, virtues. So virtuous qualities they are the necklaces and different types of ornaments. Here also the necklace is an important word. Of all things that adorn body, neck is the highlighted aspect. Therefore, the ornament here is called necklace. Lace is make it shine. What makes the neck shine? आय सुपाई राखी उर रामहि मुदित गए सब निज निज धामहि. And all those congregation of people, with the permission of King Dasharatha, they retired to their homes. पुर नर नारी सकल पहिराए घर घर बाजन लगे बधाए बधाए. And the king supplied clothes, ornaments, and all different materials to honor and satisfy all men and women. And a musical sound, the sound of joy, emanated from every home. जाचक जन जाचहि जोई जोई, प्रमुदित राउ देहि सोई सोई. And there are people who beg totally in a different state. This is a joyous type of communication, not ordinary beggars. It's just like come to a prasad stage, a prasad being given, and then you say, give me that one, not that one. So you are as if begging. And the king, with great delight, goes on satisfying the wishes of people. सेवक सकल बजनिया नाना, पूरन किए दान सनमाना. All those who were working for the king, sevaks, and all those musicians employed by the king, they were all given lots of gifts, dan and sanman. Dan, charity, act of charity. But act of charity without sanman becomes a tamasic charity. Sanman means you give with humility and thanking the person who has received it and accepted it. Sanman, not making the person feel miserable. Oh, you are coming like that all the time. I'll give you now, but be careful. I'm giving you in a crude manner. And you can figure out 3 types of charity. Tamasic charity, you are doing it so that your demoniac wishes are fulfilled. You have a terroristic mind and you want to have your demoniac project fulfilled, and so you give a lot of charity. That's tamasic. Rajasic, based on moha, deluded attachment. You don't know whom you are helping, yourself or the other. One way or the other, it is not sincere, hypocritical. Sattvic charity is like a great doctor dealing with a patient, a mother dealing with a son, a daughter. So it is that type of charity, where charity has no limit. A dear child comes to you asking for, see, all those people come for begging, I have come to beg for. And mother's heart becomes so joyous. But at the same time, if the child is trying to fox you, outfox you, and gets a lot of chocolates, you won't give that. All that comes under sattvic charity. So, And when you do this type of activity, you, the charity giver, the person, the charity receiver, both are two fingers of the same God. And there should be a profound sense of inner joy. If it is not there, then try to develop it. Don't be upset. That's the ideal. Ideal is never there all the time. But that's what you go on working for it. That's what satsanga teaches. देहि असीस जोहारी सब गावहि गुण गन गात तब गुरु भूसुर सहित गृह गवनु किन्ह नरनाथ. And all those who have been honored and all those who have received gifts, they bless the king and all, especially all the set of Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Satrughna and their wives. While all this was going on, now King Dasharatha retires along with Brahmins to his royal abode. जो वशिष्ठ अनुशासन दीन्ही लोक वेद विधि सादर किन्ही. And still some rituals were in progress. And according to the instructions given by Sage Vasishtha, in accord with Vedic scriptures and in accord with Lok, whatever has been the general tradition of that country or that Ayodhya. And seeing a great assembly of Brahmins approaching into the palace where King Dasharatha and queens are there, queens were so delighted. It's a great fortune to see all great personalities. It's a great bhagya, great fortune. Paya pakhari sakala anhavaye, puj bhali vidhi bhoop jevaye. The feet of those Brahmins, sacred personalities, were washed. The king especially performed worship of those Brahmins. And they, well satisfied, prem paritosh, prem pariposh, nourished by love, not just love, adar, dan and prem. Adar, with great reverence. Dan, charity. Prem, love. There are only three fingers to blend them together. And when that's done, real nourishment enters the heart. Pariposh. Bahubidhi kinhi gadhi sutta puja, natha mohi samadhanya naduja. Now turning their attention to Vishwamitra. It's because of him all this was possible. things were going well in Ayodhya. It was all full of rang. But suddenly Vishwamitra comes, rang mein bhag. At that time, it seemed like a tragic development. But King Dasharatha had no choice. But now, we are thankful to God that Vishwamitra came. And all this happened because of him. The king says to Vishwamitra, O Lord, because of you, I am most blessed in the whole world. No one is equal to me in blessedness. Mohisam dhanya na duja. How blessed am I? Nobody is there like me. When we are very happy, you can very well say that. Because it doesn't require going through it. Like a news media. Are you happy? How much happy? I'm joking. Kinhi prashansa bhupati bhuri, ranin sahit leena pagadhuri. And the king offered lots of adorations and praises for Vishwamitra. And finally, he, along with 3 queens, they washed the feet, put the charanas, the water from the feet dropped on their heads. There may be some other way of doing it, but this is what honoring charana dhuli, dust of the feet, and that's considered the greatest of all things that you can apply to your head to make your head shine. But behind that is poetry. So don't go after literally and find the feet of the worshipable doesn't have dust. Don't get upset. I'm joking, but not joking at the same time. The whole idea is the physical act of touching the feet, putting the hand on the head, that I will follow this footstep. The way you have walked, I'm going to follow the same. That's how you, charan dhuli, you have taken. But if you simply have wiped your hand of the real dust and put it on your head, and not following the path the Guru has said, and following your own path, then you have not understood the meaning of the ritual. Badhur samet kumar sab ranin sahit mahishu puni buni bandat guru charan det asisha manishu munishu. All the princes, that's Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, along with their wives, the brides, and king along with his wives, they offered adorations to Guru Vasishtha. And the Guru gave bounteous blessings. विनय किन्ह उर अति अनुरागे सुत संपदा राखि सब आगे. Now, furthermore description of how King Dasharatha is relating himself to Sage Vasishtha. He brings his 4 sons and their brides and all the wealth. He says, "O Guru, all this is yours." All this is your dakshina. And the Guru picks up the regular dakshina that he gets, says, "All this is yours. My blessings are with you." उर्धरि राम ही सीय समेता, हर्षि किन्ह गुरु कवनु निकेता. And Sage Vasishtha himself, placing Rama and Sita in his own heart, with great joy, he returned to his abode. Viprabadhu sababhupa bulai, chaila charu bhushan pahinai. All the women of those Brahmins, now it was their turn. They were given all types of beautiful clothes and ornaments. Bahuri bolai subasini linhi, ruchi vichari pahiravani dinhi. And then there were many women, sisters, daughters, cousins, and all relations. All of them were given wonderful clothes, pahiravan, clothes to adorn them. All those were received according to their wishes. Priya pahune pujya je jane, bhupati bhali bhati sanmane. And all those who had come as guests, they were all treated with adoration, adoring God in them. And gods who were watching all this with great attention, antarhit hokar, being invisible. The two were, in two ways it is described. There were many people who were gods in the form of human beings. Even Lakshmi Devi, Saraswati Devi, they were handling plates full of candles. Don't get surprised. And so gods began to praise the type of celebration they had never seen like that. In Indra's place, all celebrations go on, but it excels everything. The kind of celebration, how does it excel? Subtle point behind it. If your mind is moving towards enlightenment, liberation, then any mind's joy, any stage of mind's higher ascent, success, is not pointing to bhoga, enjoyment, is pointing to attaining liberation. And you have to understand the big difference between heavenly enjoyment and attaining liberation. Heavenly enjoyment can be described like a little wave. Liberation is the whole ocean. So, considering that gods, they compare all their enjoyments are bhoga, and while what is happening in Dasharatha's place is an expression of divine incarnation, Brahman as Rama, awakening aspiration, kindling the light of aspiration in the heart of others. Not for not for heavenly swarga, but for liberation. Simple way to understand. All things that excite your mind and bring a sense of great thrill and joy, if it is not promoting purity of heart and leading you towards moksha, but if it is simply creating more desire to have that type of enjoyment, Krishnana jirna vayameva jirna. When your enjoyment is defined by fulfilling your craving, the craving never dies. The more you enjoy, the more you want to enjoy it. You're bored, suddenly develop the idea, let me go to some special place in whatever, Alaska, Hawaii, Switzerland, wherever. And with great struggle and putting so many eggs together or whatever, proper ducks together. Finally you succeed. You pick up every little thing. You see a special type of stone, so many little, I'm not going into details. And come back with your iPhone filled with all those pictures. Every little bird, even a butterfly. In your garden, it is happening every day. Don't look at it. And day by day you go on showing to this one, that one. And I was, when are you going next? Oh yes, that's what I'm planning. Look at the mind now. It doesn't have permanence here. But it simply wants to go and have more thrill, more thrill. That's called Trishna. That Trishna will not go away. It becomes more. Trishna youthens while you age. चले निशान बजाई सुर निज निज पुर सुख पाई कहत परस्पर राम जसु प्रेम न हृदय समाई. With the beating of drums and different musical sounds, celebrating all the way, they went to their homes. Turning to all those people who were around King Dasharatha. They are all retiring. And everywhere, people are speaking of the glory of Rama. And the love that has emerged in their heart, their heart can't contain the love. The love is labalab, Something becomes overfull. It's spilling all the time. सब विधि सब ही समाधि नर नाहु रहा हृदय भरी भूरी उछाहु. Having treated all those people with great respect, great humility, giving lot of charity, receiving lot of blessings, King Dasharatha's heart was filled with utsaha. Utsaha is a very special Sanskrit word. U refers to ur, heart. In your heart, something sparks up with uts. And it expresses, ha 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 ha, utsaha. That spirit has to come in your daily life. No matter how situation is negative, keep a little channel and look through a little hole. There is utsaha going on in a deeper plane. Because the whole creation is meant to lead the soul to enlightenment. Everything else is passing phenomena. लिए गोद करिमोद समेता को कही सकई भयउ सुख जेता. The king brought all those sons, they are grown up ones, but to the king they are all babies, you see. Put his arms around them. And the joy he was feeling, who can describe it? And also along with their brides, all were enfolded by his arms. देखी समाज मुदित रनवासु सबके उर आनंद कियो बासु. All the inner apartment of queens, all the queens were exceedingly delighted, as if Ananda, bliss, has found abode in their heart. Consider bliss as a whole, embodiment of bliss enters their heart. And the king again and again told how in Janakpuri the things led Rama to marry Sita, and how the whole celebration was performed. And king tells it, and then he tells it again. He forgot that he has already told it. जनक राज गुणशील बड़ाई प्रीति रीति संपदा सुहाई. And these were the subject matters he discussed, and rather told. The qualities, the gentleness, the graciousness, and the mannerism of King Janaka, and his joyous prosperity. King didn't realize that he was a king. He started acting like a bard. Figure that out, what it means. Bards are political servants whose project is only to glorify the king. And they go on making poetic language, beating drums in a special way, Their whole role is speaking of the glory, how the great king has done so many things. And they go on doing again and again. That's their job. King Dasharatha, unknowingly, unwittingly, was acting like a bard, describing the glory of King Janaka. All this is a humorous way. Don't take it literally. Sutan samet nahai nip, boli vipra guru gyati, bhojan kina neka vidhi, ghari panch gairati. The king bathed along with the 4 sons, all bathed, and invited the Brahmins, Guru, and relatives for a feast. In marriage ceremonies, always feast takes place during the night. How early or how late, that will depend. If celebration is too intense, then it may be until 3 o'clock during the night. So here also in Ayodhya, bhojan ki nane ke vidhi, they enjoyed lots and lots of types of bhojan. There are about, they count 60 or 36 items to have a perfect type of feast. Panch, 5 parts of the night, Panchaghadi, passed on. About 3/4 of the night was spent in this eating and enjoying the party. Moral of the story is not to follow it exactly. To capture the joyousness and allow the joyousness to rule over your mind. An inner joy based upon spiritual revelation, spiritual insight. Mangal gan karahi vara bhamini, भय सुख मूल मनोहर जामिनी, अचई पान सब काहूं पाए, सर्ग सुगंध भूषित छवि छाए. Beautiful women doing Mangal Gan, auspicious songs, and the period of night was full of joyous celebration. After they had eaten their food and washed their faces, now they had pan, betel nut with a leaf. Tastes good, lips turn red. And it's good feeling for the stomach. I'm not promoting it. And then garland of flowers and many fragrant materials, they were offered to people. Rama hi dekh rajaya supai, nij nij bhavan chale sirnai. Having darshan of Rama and having received his permission, They all bowing their heads before Rama, and then they went on to their homes. Now, what was, Tulsidas sums up, what did you see in this whole celebration? Prem, the glory of love. Anand, bliss. Scriptures, you read those, but you don't know what it means. But now you are seeing it. You have no choice. You're smelling it. It goes into your stomach. Prem, Anand, Vinod. Vinod means mind that is experiencing a ticklish joy. Badai, a sense of profound, the type of relationship where you make a person feel very great. Badai. You bring out good quality and you end up feeling joyous. The most profound illustration, Shuddhosi buddhosi niranjanosi. Even to a baby you start saying, baby, you are purest. You are Buddha, the enlightened. You have cut down all the sansar maya. Therefore, swing, cradle. But that's at the top, climax. In human relations, that attitude must enter your heart. You should not end up any relationship with creating in the mind of the person a sense of degradation. Even with the case of medical doctors, there need to be an art, not heartless art, heartful art. You find something defective, instead of saying, look, this will make you miserable and you will be beyond miserable. Rather, you start saying, you have all the resources to combat it. And we have all the science to help you. Feel joyous. And then you will start giving. So everything can be done artistically. But when you have developed the Rajasic type of a mind, then everything, instead of even good things that could have brought your mind a sense of relaxation, you do not permit it. A breeze comes with fragrance, you close the door. Open the door, that brings the onion smell. कहीं न सकहीं सतसारस शेषु वेद विरंचि महेश गणेशु. Now, Tulsidas switches your attention to something extremely profound. This utsav, this celebration that brings thrill in your heart, is not ordinary. It cannot be described even by thousands of goddess Saraswati, thousands of Sheshanag who holds the whole universe, and thousands of Vedas. There are only 4 Vedas. And thousands of Brahma, thousands of Shiva, thousands of Ganesha. See, immediately he puts all these gods in a कहीं न सकहीं सत सारद शेषु, शारद शारदा देवी, शेषनाग, वेद, विरंची, ब्रह्मा, महेश, शिवा, Ganesh, Ganesha. All of them, not just one, 1,000 times. If they were given the project of describing this, they will fail to do it. Simple point. Bliss cannot be described in the terms of human concept. What you consider a happiness, that cannot be, as long as you are bonded with karma, then bliss can be described. If you are child, your bliss is childish. Youthful, your bliss increases in a different way. If you are in business, you succeed. And what type of business and how much success, depending upon that, your happiness increases or decreases. And you can have your own imagination of the best happiness. But no matter, and if you are not competent to have all the imagination, then they bring Saraswati Devi, Ganesha, and let them tell you all the happiness that can be possible. But all that can apply to that type of life where you are bonded with karma. All that will not describe liberation. Simple point, try to understand that. So it is not in any way a disrespect to gods. Rather, you are quoting gods as authority. Simply to say, simple point, that all your happiness in embodied state is called alpam, little. Even that little is illusory. Now therefore, no matter how great scholar you bring to evaluate the difference between bliss and little happiness, even if Brahma were to come and Saraswati were to come, they can't make any change. It is the reality. And with this, I'm concluding. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.